When you think of successful visual artists, you think of people from long ago. Names like Da Vinci and Picasso come to mind. What if I asked you to think of a successful American visual artist? You would probably think of Grant Wood, the painter of the American Gothic. You may know it as the picture of the farmer with his wife holding the pitchfork. This painting has been parodied countless times in pop culture. You could also think of Roy Lichtenstein and many of his famous paintings that you learned about in art class. One artist that is undeniably one of America's most prolific is Andy Warhol. As college students, we were given the task of finding an artist and explaining one of their works. For you today, I would like for you to help me accomplish this task and learn about the renowned artist that is Andy Warhol for the next 6 minutes. As I first explain his life and how he came to be an artist, second, provide insight into his famous piece, Camel Soup Cans, which is right here for you guys. So we're going to begin by examining his early life. Andy Warhol was it's like a traditional artist background. Grew up a weirdo, didn't have that many friends. He was born in a working class neighborhood in Pennsylvania, which is a few blocks north of the Monongahela River. He suffered from Sydenham chorea, which is also known as St. Vitus dance, and this caused him to have involuntary movements. It kept him home from school, and when he was home from school all these times, he read comic books, which that'll come up later. He was bullied for also having pigment issues. His skin was a lot lighter. It wasn't really albino, but he did have a lot lighter complexion than everyone else. He was nicknamed Spot and the Red-Nosed Warhol. Being bullied made him change his look through his clothing. He wore very extravagant and flamboyant clothes to distract what he thought was from his physical impurities. He attended elementary at Holmes Elementary School. He took free lessons at what is now the Carnegie Museum of Art. He then attended Shinley High School in 1942. His father was supportive of him, and as soon as he saw how talented his son was, he started saving for college. And then he attended Carnegie Mellon University from 1945 to 1949. From the 60s to the 80s when he died, Andy Warhol was a household name. He was one of the most famous American artists during his period, as well as all time. He started his career as busy as he ended it. In his early career, he was an extremely busy artist. He was a commercial illustrator for various magazines in the 40s and early 50s. This is one of the earliest records of him as an artist. In the 1960s alone, he directed 92 movies. That was found on IMDb. This is the same time he painted Camel Soup Cans, which is right here in one of his most famous artworks. He even wrote a book. The Philosophy of Andy Warhol is the title. In 1961, he created his pivotal piece, Coca-Cola. This changed his style from silkscreen painting, and this was really one of the first of his many pop culture oriented pieces. And now that we know about Warhol, let's examine his famous piece, Camel Soup Cans. It was made in 1962, which I said earlier, and all 32 soups are different. And the thing about this is actually an exhibit. It's not a painting. These are all individual paintings. They're all individual canvases, and every single soup is different. He shows all flavors of the soup. So this really isn't a complex piece. It just resembles the mass-produced society that we live in today. He's really just showing how back in the old times there weren't cans just produced in rows and rows and rows and put on a grocery store in grocery aisles. You really made your own soup, and it's not really exposing that, but it's just going to show how times have changed. It was made of synthetic polymer paint, and like I said, these are 32 canvases. He said that he arranged them in rows so they're like a grocery aisle, like you would find at a store. The canvases are 20 by 16 inches. This painting is so simple, yet so revered. It is on this painting that I finalized my speech. Today, I summarized the life of Andy Warhol and showed you one of his most known pieces. I told you the stories of his early life, his early years as an artist, and the prime years of his life. The next time you see a Camel soup can, I would like for you to stop and think of everything that can be represented with something so simple. Are there any questions? And it's on that in my speech.